And just like that, we're steamrolling already into the goddamn 6th week of the year. I can't believe it, guys. But welcome back to the Fantasy Football Factory, where we are joined by the guys that are makers of championships. What's up, gentlemen? How are you today?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Fantastic, dude. Good to see you, Mr. J. How about you? How's your weekend been?
It's been good. I had a birthday weekend. How about your weekend in Tennessee?
Yeah, man. Please stay tuned to the Metal Show, where we just returned from our trip to Tennessee, where I was fortunate enough to MC for the 3rd year in a row the Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest. We're going to be doing a special about it. Raven and Zach from Metal Devastation are going to be joining me on the show, so stay tuned to our Metal Show project for that. And come on over here and do sports. So we're going to cover you from both ends. We're going to have your metal over here. We're going to have your sports over here. We're going to bring it all to you right here on this channel. It's your one-stop shop for your good entertainment, my friends. And it was a kick-ass weekend around here. We did the Tennessee thing. And Bean, what about you, buddy? What'd you do with your weekend? Did you enjoy your football Sunday, first of all?
First of all, I just want to say covering from both ends. That sounds like your sex tape name, isn't it? That was a great weekend. Great for fantasy. Yeah. Great to watch. Unless you're a Patriots fan, then it's never great to watch.
Ouch, baby. Very ouch.
Before we dive too much into next week, let's look back a little bit, man. I think we did pretty good. Bean, you had a pretty kick-ass DraftKings lineup, by the way, that netted a few dollars for people who played along.
Yeah, not a crazy amount, because I only bet like $3 or $2, but it is. Hey, a win's a win, right? Cash is cash.
That's right. That's right. When you end up on the positive side of the ledger, it's a beautiful thing. And let's be honest, DraftKings and FanDuel, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to win money on. If it was, everybody would do it, right?
Exactly. You got to be perfect. I mean,
you got to be perfect. You do. You got to nail it. Yeah.
One guy doesn't hit. Oof.
You're done.
I'm one of those guys that bet with scared money. I'm the guy that the little 10-cent, 25-cent.
Yeah, my dad always used to say, you'll never win with scared money, and you'll never win with somebody else's money.
Sometimes I win $5, and I feel like, hey, 25 cents, $5, I did good.
Hey, fuck yeah. Sometimes I'll win a $5 footlong, but that's, again, for my OnlyFans page. Bean, I'm going to go to you first, sir. What stood out to you most in week of the NFL campaign this year, brother?
Well, it started off pretty awesome. That Thursday night game was the best so far, for the Thursday nights. I mean,
what a fucking game, dude.
Wow.
It was like watching Madden. It was pretty crazy. The high scoring, the QBs that both looked awesome. Kirk Cousins got me 51 in one of my super flex leagues, hey, how can you hate having that start to your week,
Kirk Cousins got me 72 in a league that's got a crazy scoring system, and I lost still. I had Kirk Cousins, I had motherfucking Mooney, and I lost still. What the fuck? Sometimes you can't beat the schedule.
Bijan owners aren't probably too happy about that first round pick. He hasn't really.
No, he has not panned out.
Really hasn't hit that big game yet. He's got a chance this weekend again. I mean, you say it every week, but Drake London had a huge night. I mean, just superstars all over the place. Baker on the other side, and just a fun game. Another fun game. You don't necessarily want to watch the Bears play, but if you got Caleb in a big league, this was the week. I think I said last week is he's got the opportunity, and he finally did it.
He did it.
Couple TDs, no interceptions, which is awesome. Rushed for about 30 yards. Really fun to watch. And, rookies, it's always tough. So the Ravens game was another one, super high scoring. I actually played against Lamar in the Big Chronic League. 384. He had 4 touches. He actually rushed for a touchdown, which was called back, thankfully, and a penalty. So Derrick Henry got the touchdown in the next play. And seeing that when you're playing against that's never fun, man. Lamar was on point. Yeah. Henry had a big game, 92, a touchdown. Andrews had a huge game. I'm just kidding. Andrews hasn't had a
That's fucked up, man.
Charlie Kohler. I mean, I think that was his name. Let me look it up. No. Charlie Kohler.
Andrews is officially on the missing in action list, right? I mean, Amber Alert. Should we put out an Amber Alert for Andrews?
If you can start right tackle, maybe. I mean, if that's where you start tackles, he might get you some points. But, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, Andrews is definitely MIA. They have too many weapons there. Likely is just as good as him.
Well, it's likely that Likely's taking over that job, I would say. So
yeah, it's definitely looking like it. So, I mean, if you have him, he might be one of those to think about. If you want to trade him high or low right now,
that trade
that you need, do it.
Trade him 2 weeks ago, right?
That ship has sailed.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
The last few, I was just going to say Burrow. I mean, if you had him, you probably won, your week. Same with Chase. I mean, both huge games. I think Burrow threw for 390 plus 5 touchdowns. I mean, that's insane.
I leaned on Zach Moss a lot in a bunch of leagues last week, and it burned me in all of them. So, and before you move past that game, in your Superflex league, I started Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. I was looking for trades today. I was just, looking at people's roster. Every once in a while, I just got to look at rosters like, oh my God.
That's nasty.
That's a sick.
I had some good quarterback play. But
Chase, I think, had 49 in that league too. I mean, that 12 catches. I think he had 190 yards or something, 2 touchdowns. I mean, crazy.
Yeah. He stole all of Zach Moss's points.
Yeah, him and Higgins, right? Higgins had the other 2 touchdowns. He started off the season injured, so it's good to see him getting back. And I mean, they're 1-5 now or whatever. They're still terrible, but they're fantasy-wise, they're fun to watch.
Yeah, panic time and Cincy, but fantasy-wise, definitely an integral team to pick the pieces from.
Yeah, you pick that bone. You pick that bone clean.
Exactly. And just looking back, one last thing, it's just how cool is to see Joe Flacco doing his thing.
Dude, that's amazing, man.
I played against him in my league in the Superflex, so yeah, I didn't have fun watching that. But it's awesome watching him just rock and roll. And again, we talked about it last week about all these teams that could have possibly. Can you imagine him in Miami slinging it to Tyreek Hill and Waddle? And I mean, just anywhere. The guy's everywhere he goes. You give him a couple weeks, and he's slinging TDs, man.
Fuck yeah, dude! I love seeing that. It makes me think that somebody should pick up the phone and maybe call Matt Ryan right about now, or you know what I mean? Those old guys coming out and fucking getting it done, man. I like it.
Flacco is getting it done. I love him right now.
Other than matchup-based situations, I don't think I would roster him, but it's still hella fun to watch, man.
It's good to have him. I don't think that.
Yeah,
I dropped Richardson. So
yeah, I don't blame you for that.
I mean, and he's making that offense look 100 times better.
It does make you question Richardson's readiness for sure. Well, what about you, Jay? What are your thoughts on this past weekend, sir? You got anything that jumped out at you big time?
Actually, what I learned is Matt Ryan's probably a little bit pissed off that Cousins broke his record on Matt Ryan night.
Yeah, on Matt Ryan night. How funny is that? Yeah.
Wow. But you know what? I love to see it. I mean, I think that was a breakout game for London. Yeah, I think London's going to start looking a little Cousins is comfortable with it. Well, look at the targets the guy got. So let him roll.
Yeah, and this show right here talked about Darnell Mooney was going to have a big game last week, man.
He did.
Yeah, and he did.
He went off, man. It was a fun game. It was definitely a fun game. Another thing that I learned is that the preseason woes are over.
I think you're right, man. I think it's starting to look like real football now.
He's more comfortable now. He's playing good. Don't count them out. They're going to start clicking. T. Higgins came back. Chase Brown.
They put themselves in a bit of a hole now, so we'll see if they can climb out of it. But I mean, hey, the season's longer than it used to be, which means you got a few extra steps to get out of it. I would say so.
Yeah, it's the NFL. You don't know.
Right. 22% chance, though. That's tough.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah, 22%. At that record, you got a 22% chance of that's making the playoffs, even less so at winning it all, right? Quick show note and NFL note for you fantasy fans out there, man. It is a bye week. We are into the bye weeks, and you should be reminded that the Chiefs and Vikings, the only 2 undefeateds, are off this week, as well as the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, so on that note, let's say we look forward, gentlemen, and get a little bit into the games to come. Start with the Thursday night. There's probably a better streaming option than the 49ers defense. I think you're right. This is going to be a shootout. I don't want any part of the defenses on this game at all. Real quickly, before we move past this game, let me ask both of you, who will be the best fantasy player in this one? Ayuk. What about you, Bean?
I'm going to go with Walker.
Walker.
Sneaky multiple touchdown game.
Wow.
I like it. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with Jordan Mason. I'm going to say Jordan Mason walks away with the fantasy crown on Thursday night. All right, let's move to another London game. I got to tell you, I hear fantasy and NFL fans with mixed reviews and mixed feelings on the games in London. I love it. I get up early. I like getting up early on a Sunday morning and there's a football game on. So I am very selfish maybe in my view on it, but I do love it. So let's go Bears, Jaguars. What's your feeling on Chicago there, Bean?
Roll them. I mean, the Jags are terrible. Roll them.
They are terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah, if you picked up Caleb last week to stream, then you got to keep going with him, right? Or at Superflex, obviously, you got to go with him. His hot hand is clearly DJ Moore. I mean, he had a huge 100+, another couple touchdowns. I'm not huge on a Dunze or Keenan yet. Keenan, I don't know if that. I don't know what's going on with him. That whole weight gain thing.
Right. What the fuck? I thought he'd be a weapon.
Yeah, he's hurt all the time. He's been hurt in the preseason. He sat out the first couple games, but I haven't seen anything from him that makes me want to, even in a huge league where it's your second flex or something. I'm not loving that. Dunze I would put over him. Again, this game I don't think I like it. I would play the Bears if that's one of your only few choices, but I don't love it. I don't like that at all. I think this will be another high scoring game. So yeah, that's for fantasy defenses.
I think you're right, brother. I look for Caleb Williams to continue his growth. I think Jacksonville being next on the schedule is perfect for him to do exactly that. So, all right. What do you think about Jacksonville there, Mr. J?
I like them. I mean, I think they're on the up. I think Lawrence, as pretty as she is, she did great. I mean, she did great. Her hair looks wonderful. I think she feels wonderful about throwing the ball to
She's coming along.
Yes.
Robinson Jr., I mean, she likes him a lot. We're going to see how that works out. And I think Bigsby, look out for that.
Yeah, that's my question for you. Who is the backfield king there, man? Is ATN being phased out at this point, or is it due to him just being playing hurt, or what do you think about that?
I think it's going to be a thing that they've seen that Bigsby is doing good right now, so they're going to give ETN so much time to
get healthier while they lean on the tank.
He's hot right now. You have to go with the hot hand.
Hot and aptly named.
With the hot hand.
Okay.
And Bigsby is hot right now. So, yeah, go with him.
Right on. What about their defense?
Jacksonville,
against the rookie.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't be. If you have a better option, go with somebody else. I mean, if you have to, do it. But if you have a better option, there's so many better options out there on the waiver wire, I think.
It is my opinion that if you start Jacksonville against the college team right now, you're probably making a mistake. You could probably do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a game where Trevor Lawrence needs to step up, man. I mean, we've been waiting for this guy to be one of the elite quarterbacks for a long time now, I feel like, and he just never quite climbs over that hill, man. I put him in a second tier, and he seems to remain there. I don't, he's not an elite quarterback, in my opinion, but
it's the coaching.
I mean, there could be something to that, but, It seems to be that he gets chance after chance and Christian Kirk after whatever, and still loses them football games. So, Bean, who will be the highest scorer in this game, sir? Who will be the fantasy king of the Bears Jaguars in London?
I'll go DJ.
DJ Moore. I like it. That's a great choice. What about you, Jay? Who's going to be the fantasy guy in this one?
Ditto.
You going DJ Moore as well?
I'm going ditto with Bean, man. That's
All
double up.
All right, I like it. I think for shits and giggles, I'm going to go with Tank. I'm going to give Tank a shot. I like him in the red zone a lot. So
yeah, he's vulturing those TDs down there.
Yeah, man, he really is. Let's move on to the regularly scheduled programming of the first round of games, man. And on that note, let's take it to New Orleans. Let's take it to a town that has had its own share of problems with storms and tornadoes and hurricanes, and they're visited by Tampa, who's just dealing with that shit right now, kind of as we're recording. What do you think, guys? Let's break down the Tampa Saints game. Bean, talk to me, buddy.
Red alert. I'm going to go red alert there. We've got an injury, a car last week for starters, and that's not looking good. This Noir guy, the backup, is just, obviously throwing him in. You're scared for Olave. Even Carr wasn't finding Olave. That the Chiefs had a good way of shutting him down last week.
Right.
So unless you have Kamara, I mean, that's really the only guy I'm loving this week, and I'm not loving it because I just don't see that offense really clicking. They're going to have a rough day. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean, extreme caution with all their players. Kamara, you can't sit because he's still going to catch the ball. So you hope, you just hope.
Right.
But
right.
I'm not starting any of those guys.
Saints might be on the ropes, man, with all the injuries and the things like that. They do look like they're not in a great position to put up a big fight this week, man. So I agree with you across the board. Well, let me ask you then, because we see I think we agree that there's going to be some stutter stepping on that offense this week. Do you put the kicker in then? Do you put in what group?
Group, yeah. Yeah, he might be able to swing you a few. That's for sure.
Right,
especially in a dome. It's never bad to have a dome guy. So,
in the age of the 60-yard kicker, right?
Mega point. I get double digits from my kickers every week. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It is the age of the kicker, man. This is the season of the kicker. All right, talk to me about Tampa Bay there, Jay.
First off, I wish the best to people in Tampa right now, because there's some crazy shit going on right now with that hurricane. Old man Milton's coming in.
Pissed.
Hope everybody got out. I'm praying everybody is freaking safe in there.
Scary stuff.
Put it out there before I got back to this fantasy football stuff. I say maybe Mayfield, just because I think it's going to be a quick bam, bam, bam. They might be demoralized because they lost their captain in Carr. I think Godwin is going to do good, and Bucky Irvin. I think Tampa's going to have a lead, so put Bucky in.
We talked about it last week, and we'll talk about it a little this week. Has Bucky Irvin taken over the backfield?
I think so. If you have White and you have Irvin, good luck, because you are now in a debacle.
Yeah.
You don't know who to start.
Fantasy players call that a Belichick.
Oh, yeah. Well, you need Belichick yourself, because
that's right.
You have both of them, you got problems.
Yeah. As soon as you think one's going to go off, this will be the other one that day. So good luck.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and did you mention Mike Evans in there? Mike Evans is certainly a green light, I would say, right? He doesn't have any health issues at the moment, does he?
Mike Evans, man.
He's a machine. That dude's a machine.
Well, I think he's going to be shut down. That's who they're going to double up on.
Okay.
I think that's who they're going. So Godwin might have a better game than him.
Okay, I like it. Do you agree, Bean? Is that your take as well?
He has quite the history with New Orleans, and
it's not that great.
It's in his head. So yeah, there's been times where he's been shut down pretty badly. Yeah, a lot of games he gets frustrated, and every time he gets into a fight, it's versus New Orleans. So yeah, if you want fireworks, that's definitely something to look forward to.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Let me ask you guys, who will be the fantasy number one guy in this game?
Mayfield. I mean,
Baker. Okay, I like it. Okay. What about you, Jay?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to go ahead and call Bucky Irvin.
Nice. Okay.
Bucky.
Yeah, Jay's a Bucky fan. He likes Bucky. When he watches,
I do. I love Bucky, man.
Jay likes Bucky. When he watches Captain America, he roots for the Winter Soldier, you guys. There you go.
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, I am going to pick. You know what? I'm gonna buck the system. I'm gonna say Mike Evans. I'm gonna say Mike Evans breaks the curse and blows it up.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Wow.
I say Mike Evans. I think he fucks history in the asshole and gets into the end zone. How
there you go.
I see what you did there with Buck.
I like it. I like it. Buck this. I like it. I like it. That's why I got you guys, because you're the best in the business.
That's our new segment now. Buck the system.
Buck this. I like it. I like it. All right, well, let's go to Baltimore. Let's go to my backyard, if you don't mind, man, where we got a local matchup. We got Washington and the Ravens facing off, man, and what I think is going to be a fantastic game. Talk to me, guys.
The 95 game, yeah, Baltimore. I mean, aside from Andrews again, you kind of got to throw everybody out there. Lamar is on, definitely a top 5 start this week for QB. D. Henry, I mean, good God. Can't not sit, he's going to play. He's going to score. Zay Flowers had 100 yards last week. He had, I think, close to double digits, 9 or 10 catches. So yeah, he is the guy. And when they get inside the red zone, it's a 3-way shot between the tight ends again. That's the laughable part for the Andrews people, and likely Vulture in 2 last week, and Lamar even runs it in. So it's like, yeah, it's tough, but don't love starting guys like Flowers, but it's going to be a shootout. So I mean. Awesome team, awesome games. This is going to be a high scoring one. So start them all.
Fuck yeah, yeah. I think it's official. Zay Flowers is the guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's getting it done too, man. I like him. They've needed that. That's a part. They needed that key running back. I do like what the Chargers are getting out of Dobbins. What it seems like the Ravens couldn't, but it seems like Derrick Henry is that perfect fit for this style of offense for them. and he's working so well into it, and they needed that receiver, and Zay seems to be that guy, man. So that's an offense that's clicking. Of course, you're starting Justin Tucker, offensive output.
Right.
What about the Ravens D? Do you start them against the rookie?
Don't love it. No, don't love it.
Me either. No way in hell either.
I think they got negative point. Well, obviously, yeah, against the last week against the Bengals, putting up all those points. I know they got negative points this week. So, yeah, they're not a huge start for me this week at all. No.
Right.
I think this could be 35, 31, some, right in that range. So
agreed. I don't think the Commanders' defense is very good either. So, yeah, go with your Ravens. What about the Commanders there, sir?
Okay, I'm going out on a limb. Actually, I'm not going out on a limb.
You keep going out on those limbs, you're going to end up on the ground, man.
Dude, I'm pretty much like a monkey. I just hang out and just like scratch my armpits and shit all the time.
Jay's broken limbs. All right, what do you got?
That's what I do. I've been waiting for this because I'm announcing it now. I love Jaden Daniels.
Me too. I'm a fucking Cowboys fan, and I love that kid, man. So.
Dude, I was just getting ready to say I'm a Lions fan, and I'm ready to go out and get one of his jerseys.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go that far, but I'm close.
No, I'm ready. He looks good. He looks poised. He's smiling when he gets up from play. He's calling his own plays. He's like, I see this. I love this kid. And that has brought back my dude who I've always liked, Scary Terry. And don't forget Mr. Man, Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I like Zach this week. I got a sneaky feeling I
think he's going to do all right this week.
I'll tell you what, man, it is the Battle of the Beltway. It's going to be right here in our backyard. I think it definitely has potential to be in the game of the week. I do like Jaden Daniels. I like both quarterbacks. I'm starting everybody but the defenses in this one. Don't forget about that Brian Robinson Jr., man. He sure is coming on from taking a bullet and keep defending himself during a robbery to pumping touchdowns into the NFL. I couldn't root for this kid more, man. It's so strange. I'm a Cowboys fan living in an era where I find myself rooting for all these Washington players, but I just can't help it, man. So, yeah, go Brian Robertson Jr. as well. I like him as a start, as a green light this week as well. Anyway.
Well, let me say this.
Get the kickers out there, too. I think the age of fantasy has changed loyalties a lot, man. You know what I mean?
Yes, it has.
If you find that you've got the same player year after year after year, you love that guy, man. He might not be on your team, but you love that guy just as much as if he had been drafted by the team you root for.
I'm not going to lie. It doesn't hurt that when I look at Jaden Daniels and he's number 1 grade.
Yeah, that's right, man. You start thinking about the fantasy angle and you're like, I love this fucking kid. That's right.
But no, I love that kid in a football aspect too. I love it.
Well, then you tell me first on this one, Jay. Who's going to be the number 1 fantasy scorer in the Ravens Commanders?
I'm going to say Lamar Jackson.
Lamar. You can't go wrong with Lamar. What about you, Mr. Bean?
I was going to say the same thing, man.
Lamar? All right. Yeah,
as much as I love Jaden, I gotta go Lamar on this one. He's more poised. Let's go.
I think I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I got a feeling he's going to get into the end zone a few times.
Yeah.
So let's go then to Green Bay, where the Arizona Cardinals come to town, man. Let's talk about that one, guys.
I love Jordan Love. I mean, I love Jordan Love. I just said that, right? Yeah, he's lighting it up. Great opportunity for him. Reed's his number 1 guy. You got to start him. The Kraft, the tight end, had 2 touchdowns last week, and he had a touchdown the week before that. So it's looking like he's the guy there now too.
Right. Yeah. Making Kraft, by the way, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, Chris, but that does make Kraft very appealing in the DraftKings FanDuel era of he's still not priced like he's going off. So
right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. No, sorry, brother. Josh Jacobs, obviously, as well. You got him. You're starting him. The only guy that kind of killed me last week was Dontavian Wicks. I don't know if you watched that game, but he was dropping balls and just not. I don't know. He just wasn't. I put him in 2 leagues and he absolutely killed me.
Killed me too.
Before you move past that, we did recommend you guys to you guys out there last week, and we apologize as he ended up dropping more balls than a rookie porn star, as it would turn out. So,
Droptavian Wicks, that's his new name, or Bricks even. Droptavian Bricks.
Droptavian Bricks. Oh, I love that. Droptavian Bricks.
I already dropped him. Screw that guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go, man. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll get briefly in that, some players to think about dropping. But all right, what do you got on the Arizona side of the ball, Mr. Bean? I mean, Mr. J.
You've got to go with the big three in this one. You've got to go with Murray.
Murray, Connor,
which
Harrison.
I learned last week.
What a game they had last week, by the way, man.
Man, he had an amazing game. I love the way he plays. I mean, he actually looks good. I always thought he was too small, but
I think Arizona's a well-coached team.
Yeah, I agree. And on top of that, I have old Harry Jr., old Harry man, Mr. Red Zone target. Dude, they love looking for Harrison Jr. in red zone.
Yeah.
Every time. And you can't go wrong with Connor.
Harrison sure does seem to be a chip off the old block, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he does. Man, I mean, he's got pedigree. So, I mean, and before you even ask, I'm going to hit you to this. I do not trust the Arizona defense. Not at all.
We're not liking a lot of defenses so far in this show. I'll tell you that, man. Hopefully there's some Chroma Cross we'll tell you to stream later in the show. But yeah, I don't like either defense. I don't even like the Packers defense. I don't like either defense in this game.
Yeah, all the defenses are scary as hell this week, man.
We'll get to a few that are startable, but we're not there yet. All right, well, who do you got for the number one scorer in this game, sir?
Number one, I would say I'm going to go Harrison Jr.
Nice.
I think there's going to be maybe one designed one and then one broken play that he just goes nuts on.
Burn somebody in the secondary for. I like it.
Burn them.
All right, take it to the bank and note it, gang. What about you, Bean?
I'll go Love.
Love, yeah, I'm going to join you. I'm going to join you in the love party, my friend. Let's have a little love session. I think Jordan Love gets it done in this one too. So, Houston at New England. What do we got here?
Do we have to? Really? So what did I say earlier? Red alert? This is,
another red alert, man. We might be talking about a startable defense here in a moment, huh?
Hey, here we go. Yeah.
I mean, Stevenson, if you have him, you might have to. I mean, he's the only one. Hunter Henry, maybe if you're desperate in this terrible tight end year that we're having, the economy, I guess you want to call it. It's awful. I did hear today that Coach Mayo was thinking about starting Drake May, but you're not picking him up. I mean, I don't like anything about I mean, no. Nothing.
Yeah, no.
I can't imagine as a lifelong Patriots fan, and they've had some great, amazing fantasy players over the last 15 years, and nobody wants to own any of them. I mean, it's a little.
It is a bit bleak, man. Well, they're rebuilding. Let's call it rebuilding. How about that?
First phase,
yeah. I think if you got Stevenson, you got to give him a go just on pure bulk alone. Like he's going to get the opportunity to touch the ball quite a bit. So other than that, I'm not a big fan. Again, I do agree with you. The tight end economy, as you say, is pretty bleak also. So maybe you do got to throw Henry into the fire. But, man, I'm not going to do it with a smile on my face. I'll tell you that. What about the Houston side of the ball, sir?
Well, you got to go Stroud. That's my dude.
Yeah, you got to green light them across the board, don't you? I mean,
pretty much you got to throw everybody. The thing that worries me is the whole Nixon. Nico Collins is out.
Yeah, for sure. And that sucks. I love that guy, man. What a hell of a ball player.
That's fucking killing me.
Yeah.
So you got to look for somebody. Dell's the next guy up.
Yeah. I think what do you think? Stephon Diggs becomes a bigger part of the offense now too, right?
Yeah, he should. He's going to be shadowed, man.
Got his first touchdown last week as a Texan. I got green light across the board on Houston, man. I think them dudes are going to do very, very well in this game. And this is the first time I'm going to say there's a giant green light on the Houston defense, man. I love them. They could potentially, I don't know that I'll pick them to be my number one scorer, but it wouldn't shock me if they ended up being that. So let's just say that that's much more a statement on the New England offense probably than anything else.
I agree with you. That's one of the defenses that I would go with this week.
Yeah,
have them start them.
Yeah, I love them this week, in fact. So, all right, well, who's going to be the number one fantasy scorer of this game, guys?
Stroud.
Yeah, I'm going Stroud too.
You know what? I think I will join you. Let's go Stroud. Let's do a 3-time Stroud. Let's do the three-headed Medusa Stroud.
Hey, that's our first triple. That's our
We
first triple, guys.
trips across the board. So all of you Stroud owners, be happy and start him with full confidence. Shit, if anything, hope they don't pull him in the fourth quarter because it's a blowout. Anyway, you want to go to Philly, gang? Let's go to the East Coast and talk
Nobody
about...
wants to go to Philly, dude.
No. Only Eagles fans want to go to Philly. But let's break it down. Another interesting game, man. I think before we get too much into it, I do want to touch briefly on... Let's talk a touch about this Deshaun Watson thing, guys. I mean, the guy's a fucking loser. I mean, can we call him what it is? He's a loser. He's shit on his team. He quit on his team. He was asked to come in and play a fucking fourth down play, and he refused. How do you square that with a guy you're paying that much money to?
And then the coach rewards him with starting again next year.
Yeah, an immediate, unquestioned, yes, he's our starter,
Yeah, I don't understand that, and I hate to go off of fantasy and then NFL. I don't know if you saw the end of the Alabama game with the upset, and one of the players, I don't know his name off the top of my head, 13. I don't know if you saw that at the end, but he was throwing his arms around and screaming, and he went up and got a penalty. And then the next play, he kicked the ball before they were gonna, and then the coach kept him in. It just goes along the lines of that. It's just weird. Like, how do you reward these kids or these players, these young guys, and say, they're doing this, they're not doing this right, but yeah, we're going to start him again, even though he's playing awful. It's not like he's playing lights out. So it's I don't get it.
I don't get it, dude. That is so true. We used to punish that kind of behavior, and we just don't anymore. That's why we see it more and more, honestly, because there's no repercussions for it any longer. And let's be honest, Deshaun Watson has gotten away with anything all but murder at this point. And this is robbery, what he's doing to this organization. This is full-on robbery. He is stealing that money. He is what I once thought. I once really hated Johnny Football because I thought he really robbed the Cleveland Browns organization. But he's got nothing on Deshaun, man. And I'll tell you what, this team is put itself up there. What is it about this organization that they're so easily fucking taken advantage of by these quarterbacks that they keep throwing money at and getting nothing in return for? There's something in the water there in Cleveland that just...
They're cursed. They are cursed. That's correct.
Well, I got.
And then you watch Baker Mayfield continue to kick ass for Tampa Bay. It's got to be acidic. There was an era, let's be honest, there's always been in sports, we kind of look the other way on a lot of these behaviors from these guys, and far too many instances. But it used to be because you were good. I mean, this guy's not even good. This guy's not even getting it done. It's, his QBR is embarrassing. Like, what the fuck, buddy? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. He's had a couple games that he looked good back in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't looked good at all where he is right now.
No, sir. He's yet to cash in a good game for the Browns. 1-4. The dude's 1-4. Jameis Winston time, man. It might be Jameis Winston time in Cleveland. I'll bet you Amari Cooper would be happy to see that happen. Yes.
Unless he gets traded, because he's been in the rumor mill for getting that.
Yeah,
we'll talk
with the info.
Devontae Adams might find himself on a brand new team here soon too. We'll talk about that a little bit as well.
That's going to be the Steelers. I'm sticking with last week's.
I think it's the Jets. I think he goes back to Rodgers, but all right. Well, let's talk about the actual game Deshaun Watson will be in, man. Which one of you guys got Cleveland for me?
For Cleveland, I pretty much have. It's a dumpster fire. The only one you could do is Cooper. That's all I trust. Like I just said, I can't stand Watson. You don't want to trust Ford.
No, you can't.
Foreman, you might get something out of him in the first half, but that's about it.
The offense looks broken.
Yeah, they're done. They're done. I mean, it's like, good luck with that. You gave me Cleveland on this one, and it's like, it's not going to be anything from Cleveland. Sorry. I mean, I'm done with this one.
I think if you have Cooper, you got to roll with them, and I would probably go with their kicker in this one as well.
Yeah, it depends on who you have, because it is another week of kind of the bye week blues. So you might have to start.
You might have. I'd throw Hopkins out there, but all right, Bean, what do you got for Philly?
Everybody's back, so that's good. Jalen
What
Hurts,
timing, right? I mean,
I wait for the bye week. It worked out perfect.
Yeah.
AJ is going to be back. Devontae is going to be back. Goddard's been relatively hot, but you don't know how that's going to hurt him with the two other big guns coming back. So, again, tight end economy, right? But you got to roll with them.
Right.
And obviously Saquon, I mean, RB, what is he? Top 2, top 3? So yeah, absolutely. Roll with him.
Right. They sure do use them right over there.
Philly's D. No, the rough week for defenses, like you're saying earlier. Don't like them. Yeah, that's about it.
Right. Nice.
I've missed AJ Brown so much. I can't wait for him to come back and see me again.
Well, it is nice for them to get healthy, and if you're an Eagles fan, especially if you own those guys on your fantasy team. AJ Brown and Devonta Smith make that offense go. I do think you're going to see an entirely different offense this week with those guys back on the field, man. So people who have been shitting on Jalen Hurts, you got to roll with him this week. I think that he's going to have a good game with his weapons back. People who are down on him because he played, I mean, let's be honest, he closed last year on a 7-game skid where he looked pretty bad, and he's got some games this year where he doesn't look great. So confidence in Hurts is not as high as it once was, but I think with his weapons back this week, we should expect to see a bit of an upper echelon performance from him.
Yes, definitely.
And the kickers, I like kickers. I like both of these kickers, by the way. So, all right, Bean, who will be the top scorer in the Cleveland-Philly game?
I'm gonna wuss out and go QB again with Jalen. I like Jalen.
Okay, you don't want to go with Watson, right?
No.
All right, Jay, who do you got?
Top scorer in this game?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say Barkley.
Yeah, I'm going Barkley also. Actually, I like Saquon Barkley a lot.
I'm thinking they're going to try to blow it out, but then they've got them.
I think they get the lead and then they run it down their throats for the rest of the game.
There you go. We think alike. Great minds think alike, my friend.
That's right, brother. That's right. All right, Tennessee. Let's go to the divisional matchup of Tennessee and Indianapolis. These games, man, are always entertaining to me, man. There's somehow the Tennessee-Indy games always end up being just crazy, you know. That's right, yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to this game quite a bit, and it does have some fantasy implications. Let's talk about them, man. Who's got Indy? Jay, you got Indy on the road for me, sir?
Richardson, he's done.
Done? Wait a minute. Let's backtrack. Richardson's done. I think that might be premature, sir. I think
no, I don't done. I think
too much money for a rookie to only play a few games to be done.
I may have used the wrong words. I'm a fantasy guy. I play fantasy. I'm looking at him. Right. I've already dropped him.
And fuck that guy. Okay, fantasy-wise, you say he's done. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, he's done.
I got you.
Flacco, yeah, this is a fantasy show, so I'm talking about some.
So is it the Flacco ride the rest of the way? Because I don't see that either, man. Even if they're winning, I think you got to go to the rookie.
Next 2-3 weeks, I think it is going to be the Flacco ride. And he is making that offense hum. I mean, you got Downs working now. Yeah. You didn't even hear any of those names.
Yeah.
You're still not.
Pittman look better. Yeah.
I mean, you're hearing Pittman a little bit more, but he's the number one receiver. He's drawing the number one cornerback every time. So, and Flacco knows how to read that offense. So he's going to find the open player every time.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's
and
interesting.
I love Josh Downs. I do too. Offense with Flacco.
I think if Indy makes a run at the playoffs, yeah, you may be right. We may see Flacco at the helm, you know. But if they start to fall off a little bit, it'll be back to the rookie, I think. But
he's still got it. He still has the arm, man.
Yeah, I mean, he threw for 300 and some odd yards last week. So, Flacco and the red fucking rocket leading the charge of the old man resurgence, Brody. I'm telling you, we're going to see Matt Ryan before the year's over. But what's up with Tennessee there, Bean?
No, none of the loving these guys either. I mean, Levis, you probably are not playing unless you're in a huge super flex. Even then, that's a tough start. He's been struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, he got pulled last week and then pulled back in. So who knows? I know it's his job, but he's not losing his job quite yet. But there's been talks. But Pollard's been the hot hand at running back. I think he's startable. Yeah, the wide receivers I don't love. Ridley hasn't really done anything there. Hopkins is just old and not looking great. I don't like anybody there. The tight end situation's not great. And if Flacco's there, they're going to score a lot of points. So I don't love Tennessee. I know it's, divisional game, and a lot of times it is a little bit lower scoring, beating each other up, running the ball. So, but I still don't love starting that defense against the Colts, who put up a lot of points.
Can I ask Bean a question?
Sure.
I would love to ask Bean a question.
Shoot.
What the fuck is going on with Calvin Ridley?
I don't know, right? I don't get it.
Honestly, they have two
Yeah.
receivers that should be productive that are just not, man. I mean, you might be able to blame that on the quarterback play so far, to be honest, because can this kid get the ball to him? I mean, you got Ridley. Honestly, Ridley and Hopkins are, even an older Hopkins is a weapon. I mean, these guys should be a part of your brigade there, and they're just not right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
A super high on Ridley in the preseason, and just I didn't actually get him in any league, so I'm thankful for that. But
well, unfortunately, I did.
Well, I'll tell you, Tennessee's a team that should maybe think about picking up the phone and calling Matt Ryan right about now. But you know, you can play against the Colts and get you a W.
Answer for me. I was just hoping you had the answer for me,
Yeah.
Ben. Because I didn't know how I fucked up.
I wish I did.
He's on the MIA list with Mark Andrews is what's up. So
yeah, there we go.
I do think that Indy's defense is startable in this one. I think that I would ride with the Colts defense if you're streaming and looking for a defense. So. All right, let's do Denver and the Chargers. It's divisional matchup weekend, a lot of divisional games. All right, what's up? Let's go Chargers, Denver. What do you got there, guys? Who's going to break down the Chargers for me?
I got Chargers for you.
Talk to me.
There's only a couple of them that I would probably start. It would be Dobbins, Quentin Johnson.
I like Dobbins, man.
Dude, I love it. I love his story. I'm glad that he's coming back. And injury bug got him. I took him every year and pretty much died every year by taking him since he was a rookie. So now he's doing all right. So I'm gonna ride that train and see how far it takes me.
Fuck yeah.
And then, like I said, Quentin Johnson and maybe Herbert for the Chargers.
I like Herbert this week quite a bit, actually. I think
I kind of like him.
They're going to give him a chance to throw.
Yeah, Denver side's not much better, man. This is not a great fantasy game at all. I mean, Nix has been pretty awesome the last two games. He had 3 touchdowns last week. Superflex, I know plenty of people that started him in my league. So, yeah, he put up some decent points. Not a terrible matchup, but it's not a high-powered offense. Cortland Sutton's been basically his number 1, number 2, and number 3 receiver.
Right.
Looks forward because he's always just running for his life, and he's a great scrambler as well. So don't love it. The running back situation's a mess. I don't even think most of those guys are even played on a consistent basis. The only thing I really do like about him is the defense. Denver's defense has been top 3 the last few weeks. So
yeah,
those definitely rolling with that defense in a couple weeks this week. So
Denver's been kick-ass, man. That defense is playing some good ball.
Well, the thing that scares me are these are 2 teams. These are 2 of the teams in the NFL that play to their competition.
Yep.
You know how when you play a game of pool or whatever, you're doing good. If somebody's doing great, you play better. Somebody sucks, you're sucking.
Yep.
One of those you stick head to head with them.
I got a feeling this is going to be a high-scoring affair, honestly. I know Denver's defense has played well. I just, for some reason, these 2 teams, they get on the field with each other and points start happening. I got a feeling this might be now I'm not talking 40-45 or anything, but 27-28 final, something like that is going to be in the works. So
I'm with you.
But who's going to be the fantasy star of this game, Bean? I know we talked about what might have been the game of the week earlier. This might be the anti-fantasy game of the week here for sure.
For Denver, I'm going to go Nix. I think he's going to get a couple touchdowns again this week.
Okay, cool.
Love saying that out loud, but there you have it.
Nix, nice. That's ballsy. I like ballsy picks. That's a good one. All right, who's going to be the player of the Chargers-Denver game, Jay?
I'm going to go out there. I guess you can call it small ballsy, but I'm going Dobbins.
Dobbins. Hey, I like you.
Yeah, I think he's going to get it this time. I love that kid.
Rubbing your nobbins on big old Dobbins. Okay, I like it. I like it. I am going
Poppins and the Nobbins.
I am going to take the motherfucking Denver kicker. What's his name again? I'm going with Will Lutz. How about that? I'm picking the kicker. The kicker's going to be the newly named Denver kicker, Will Lutz, formerly of the Saints, is going to be the player of the week. It's not often you pick a kicker as the fantasy player of the game, but that tells you a lot about how I feel about this game. All right, there you go. That's how we look at the Indianapolis, Tennessee game. So who's you guys pick for the player of the game in that one? Who's going to be the fantasy king of the Colts Titans?
As much as I hated on him before, I'm going Josh Downs.
Josh Downs
got it. Yeah,
I
think Flacco loves him. Richardson's not playing this week, so it's going to be Josh Downs.
Nice. I like it.
Calvin Ridley. He's going to come out of nowhere.
I like it. I love it. That's a ballsy call. I like it. Nice. Calvin Ridley. So you're making the zombie call. You're literally talking about somebody coming back to life from the dead this week. I like that.
Please.
All right. Well,
is right.
My pick for the Indy Tennessee game is motherfucking old man Joe. Give me Flacco for the win, baby. Let's go.
I like that. Let's
go, Joe.
Let's go. Let's go, brother.
From one game with, I believe, not a lot of fantasy value to another one that I think is on the same level, maybe a little better, but I don't see a lot of value in the Raiders-Pittsburgh game right now, man. It's not a game that appeals to me on a fantasy level at the moment. There's not a, it doesn't jump out at me, I would say. So talk to me about the Steelers, Jay.
I really would not start anybody from this. I mean, maybe if you're hurting, because there are some bye week situations going on, but you need to go with, if you have to pick somebody and they're hurting, go with Fields. I mean, try him out. Why not?
The Raiders' defense is not super intimidating outside of Crosby.
The Raiders are slim pickings.
Yeah.
That's what I call slim pickings right there. So you can get through that. And maybe Najee Harris and Pickens.
I was going to say, speaking of Pickens, yeah.
Yeah, I like Pickens also, but that might be where you want to go in that game.
Boswell,
It's not going to be an exciting game.
Right. So I think it's a Boswell game. I like Chris Boswell in that game a lot. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. It might be one of those field goal games. So I mean, it's like start them, but sit back and watch, and it's going to be a slow game, and it's going to be one of those you're watching those players praying they do something soon.
Yeah, like hoping and praying and hoping and praying. Well, I do like the Pittsburgh defense this week, though. I like the Pitt defense against the Raiders, because who the fuck knows what's going on in the goddamn Raiders quarterback situation right now?
Did you
what
see
a
that?
mess.
Coach Pierce is actually having a mid-season competition, week 6, and he's having a QB competition.
Open competition for quarterback in week 6 is a bad sign.
Yeah. Oh, they're splitting reps out there, apparently.
That's terrible. How do you do that? I mean, are you going to let Farva from Super Troopers play yet, or what? I don't know. He's gotten in a couple of games, but yeah, that's sad when that's a red alert on the Vegas side as well.
Yeah,
I love that.
Even worse. Yeah, it's even worse. I mean, Brock Bowers, the tight end. That's it.
Yeah, I would say that's it. Right, Brock is it. Maybe, yeah.
Like you don't even know who's throwing the ball, and Pittsburgh defense is pretty good. So
yeah. Fuck the Raiders in this one. I mean, not as I don't like them at all, buddy. I think I like Daniel Carlson. I do think that he might have a chance. They're going to put him out there and they give him shots at big long field goals. And let's be honest, they bog down with the 30. So it's a good chance for him to maybe get out there and get some points on the board. I like Pittsburgh's defense a lot, so I think they're going to be the kings of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off. And I'm taking Pittsburgh as the number one fantasy scorer in this, the Pittsburgh defense. What do you got, guys?
I like that a lot. I agree.
You agree? You're all.
That's going to come up later in my DraftKings situation.
Oh, okay. All right. And what about you, Bean? Who's your pick of the game, Bean?
I'll go with Fields. I like him. I think he's top 10 this week. Fields. Not only can he's got the passing, but he's also great on the ground. So I think he might even sneak in for a couple scores.
Nice.
Against that pretty shitty defense.
If he can avoid Max Crosby, he can do things against that defense.
I think Crosby's going to keep him on the run, and he's just going to keep going forward. So.
Yeah, I do love Crosby, though, man. That's a dude's a baller. All right. Atlanta, Carolina, gang. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers for a bit.
Why?
Yeah, right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
the only one to talk about is Atlanta, really.
Well, break down Carolina for me, Bean.
Obviously, Chuba has been playing great the last couple weeks. You're going to keep rolling with him. Dalton in a bigger league, maybe, because the Atlanta secondary can be scored on, as we saw.
Absolutely.
And thrown on. Deontay Johnson's the number one, clearly. I think you definitely can go with those guys this week, and I'm not loving much past that.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Dalton to Deontay Johnson's been a much more effective weapon, you know, dynamic than I expected coming into the year, man. Those guys look good. It's a shame Thielen got hurt when he did too, because I feel like if he was out there right now, that could be an offense that does a couple of things, man. More so than people thought coming into the season, certainly.
Well, that's what happens when you're 80 years old. I mean, you break your hip a lot.
That's right. That's right. You're crawling around. Well, he's watching all these other geriatrics out there getting it done. He's like, God damn it, I'm going to crawl my fucking ass out there too.
I need more time. He's still been a great. You're right. That Dalton would be even better with him out there because the guy runs routes. I mean, he might not have the speed he once did, the burst, but the guy runs routes.
He does run routes. Well, what about the Falcons there, Jay?
Of course, I mean, after last week, I mean, you've got to go Cousins. Yeah. Cousins has to be.
This is a great matchup for him.
Yes, and Drake London. I might fall into the pit that everybody is falling into. See what I did there? The pits.
So you do like Kyle Pitts this week?
The pits.
I'm waiting for that fucking guy to come alive. He's starting to.
Wake up, man.
Yeah, I think Cousins is going to give him more and more opportunities to catch the ball. So we'll see.
Cousins loves his tight ends, so I would say go ahead and do that. Those are the ones that, of course, you got to go Bijan Robinson
for sure.
So, I mean, for check downs, that they really need to. Man, I'm waiting for that guy to get something going, man.
Yeah, we've been waiting a long time so far, and it's yet to come.
It's really hurting my soul, and I don't know if I can take
it. Well, I'll tell you right now, I am green lighting the Falcons across the board. I like them up and down this week. I like Cousins. I like Mooney. I like fucking London. I like fucking anybody who plays and is healthy. Get them the fuck out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get them out there, dude.
I would, even if you're in a streaming situation, I'm not sure I'd be terrified of starting the Falcons defense. They're not great, I agree, but they could, hey, the Red Rocket's getting it done, but he's not afraid to turn the ball over a couple of times. And let's be honest, he's not exactly mobile back there. So he can be got.
It's the bye week blues.
Yeah, that's right.
You never know.
He can be got. So who are you picking to be the fantasy stud in the Falcons Panthers game, guys?
Going crazy, and I'm going to do Bijan Robinson.
Ah, okay. So
Bijan comes. Get a feed. I think they're going to run. I think maybe he'll score this week.
Nice.
Maybe he'll score. I'm hoping.
So Bean has taken several zombie picks. You're taking some guys to finally come back to life this week. I like that, man. I'd like to see that. What about you, Jay?
That's very nice because I was hoping I would have gone first because now I sound like I'm piggybacking off Bean again.
You taking Bijan? Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Bijan Robinson.
It's Bijan.
All right.
I'm hoping this is his week. I need him to do something. It's not just for me. I need it for all of you.
For all of you out there at home following along. That's right. Well, I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins, man. I like Cousins to keep it going this week. I think.
Oh, okay. Good pick.
Between the game last week and the game this week, he's going to go off and then trade that motherfucker and get everything you can for him.
You know what? That's how it goes. That's how it
all
goes.
Right. A game that means a lot to me and Jay this week. We're going to talk about our side bet later, man. Yeah. Last year, we bet on the Dallas-Detroit hookup, and I won a fantastic jersey. I'll show that to you here. Look at that awesome jersey that I got from my main man. Jay, you're an amazing guy. Look how awesome that is. What are we betting on this game this year, Jay?
Man, I can't. Man, I went above and beyond last
You did.
year.
You absolutely did. You did for sure.
I got that sucker autograph for you, so it was.
I got an autographed badass jersey when Dallas beat Detroit last week from this man. You're a good man, sir. So what are we going to bet on the game this year, my friend?
Man, it's not going to be the same as last year. So
Okay.
I'm going to go a little bit. Let's make it fun. Let's do a hat.
All right. I like it. I like it. I need a good hat.
A hat of our choice.
I like it. All right. You heard it out there, ladies and gentlemen. We're throwing hats down.
Yeah, the bet.
Hats are down, baby. I tip my hat to you.
We're doing it this week. We're doing a hat bet.
All right. We'll unveil that.
I'll be wearing my new Lions hat that Crypt bought me.
You might be. I'm afraid of this game. As a Cowboys fan, I'm afraid of this game. I think that Detroit might exact some revenge after that loss last year, to be honest. But
let's go.
It is in Dallas, so hopefully we'll go. So, all right, we'll break down the Lions for me there, brother.
Well, basically, I would start whoever the hell you have.
Yeah, that Dallas defense is not what was advertised in preseason.
No, it is not.
It definitely isn't.
Gibbs is going to go off. Montgomery's going to go off. Thing is, you got to figure out which.
I like Gibbs. I got a sneaky feeling Jahmyr Gibbs.
About my Lions. I'm just so happy about my Lions right now. I'm sitting here and it's like all rushing through my head. It's like Goff, Gibbs, Laporta, Jameson Williams, Monroe St. Brown.
Speaking of zombies, does Laporta come back to life this week?
He could. I'm still scared. We'll see what happens. He's getting back in there. They're using him a lot for block, so I don't want to go that far. I would like Jameson Williams a lot more than Laporta this week.
Dallas hasn't been particularly susceptible to the tight end so far this year either. So I'm not sure Laporta gets it done this week either. So
they can't, and they use Jameson Williams I think Jameson Williams is. I think he's going to be the player of the game.
Well, what about the Detroit defense? Do you start them?
No, I wouldn't mess with any of these two defenses. No, it's going to be a shootout.
There will be points galore in this game.
There's going to be points, but I don't think there's going to be that many defensive points. Yeah. I think there's going to be enough to take away. But if you're going to take anybody, I'd go Detroit.
I predict a fucking Diggs pick 6 off of Goff. But go ahead. What about you, Bean? What do you got? Talk to me about the Cowboys.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, right? I mean,
it's going to be a fun game.
The week for sure.
Best game of the week.
Dak has been rolling. I know it's not pretty, but he's scoring fantasy points. That's what we're talking about, right? I think CD is going to have a huge game. The secondary is where you can beat Detroit. Running, not so much. So I'm not loving anyone like Dowdle, who seems to be the number one guy there now. And sneaky play might be Tolbert, with his situation and the injuries. And Cook's out again. He had a few catches last week. He had that huge touchdown at the end of the game. I think he's a great play. Ferguson as well. I mean, it's going to be, they're going to probably both throw for over 300 yards each. So roll them. Roll anybody that's catching a ball this week. Again, no defenses. Kickers probably on both sides are great plays. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Dallas kicker, right? I mean,
yeah, fuck. I'm gonna say it every week until it happens. I think that kid's got a 70-yarder in him this year, man. And I think it's this year, 70-yarders, man. I'm telling you, on the record here.
This is the one that I looked at and I was like, who do you start?
Everybody.
Who do you know? Everybody.
Yeah. Who don't you start, right? Yeah.
This is the game, right?
I love this game. It's going to be a great game. There's going to be points galore. I think it's going to be a fucking ton of fun to watch. So let's get it done,
I think the game line is 52. So, hey.
It'll be, I'm going over on that, honestly. So,
yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm taking the over. And I love the matchup, man. I do. I love the fantasy implications. So who you guys taking to be the player of the game? You said you were going to take what'd you say, Williamson, Jay?
I'm taking JMO. Okay. Jameson Williams.
Nice pick.
I think he's going to have a big one. He's going to have a big one in that game.
What about you, Bean?
I'm going CD.
CD Lamb? Nice. You know what? I'm going to take Dak. I'm going Dak in this one. I think that I look for the Dak attack. He'll be the number one fantasy scorer in this matchup. All right, let's move to Sunday night. We only got a couple left, you guys, I promise. All right, and that means not only is the Giants game of Sunday night, the Monday night game is the Jets. So the Meadowlands is going to be busy on Sunday and Monday night this week, man. There's going to be a lot of people walking in and out of that joint in 24 hours. But let's do the Giants first, man, and talk to me about the visiting Bengals there, Mr. J.
To the Giants, I think that might be a little trick. They need to do so much. They're hurting right now.
Oh,
they need to do something. So I think they might go into Chase. Burrow is done with the little 4-week preseason that he didn't get before.
Yeah, he looks like a different quarterback the last,
Yes, it showed last week that he's more comfortable. He's finding his players quicker. I think Chase is going to be good. I think Chase Brown is going to be. What's his name? Brown, the running back.
Yeah.
Is that Chase Brown
Chase,
also?
Yeah.
Yep.
They got 2 Chases?
They got Jamar Chase and Chase Brown. Yeah, they got all. They're doing some chasing in Cincy.
Shit out of me.
Yeah, they got some. They're doing some chasing in Cincy between Chase Brown and Jamar Chase.
Zach Moss is the.
All right, so basically,
What'd you say?
I like Chase
Zach
Brown.
Moss is the other guy too.
Yeah. I'm going to cut you off, Jay, to ask you that actually, because I think anybody out there watching right now, when it comes to Cincy in particular, the big question is, where is Moss in this offense right now? Where do you place him as a fantasy guy? Do you, is it the Chase Brown show now officially, or and I guess the question is Moss moving into droppable territory. He seems to certainly be in benchable territory right about now, but how soon are we talking about dropping Zach Moss, who was kind of a, somebody people wanted in the preseason quite a bit?
I really do not want to drop Zach Moss. I love that dude. I drafted him in a couple leagues. I love to have him. I didn't expect this. I mean, now, while it's still like kind of 50-50, Chase Brown is looking good.
Right.
It makes really good, and it's scaring me.
It makes it hard to start Moss with confidence right now, I would say.
Yes, it does. I agree with you 100%.
So Jamar Chase obviously is a green light. T. Higgins obviously is a green light. So you're going across the board. Evan McPherson's one of the better kickers in the NFL, and I look for him to do his thing as well, man, and the year of the kicker. So what about the Giants, Bean? Talk to me about the old big G-men.
Oh, my guy's back this week. Hopefully, Malik Neighbors. I mean, he's.
Thank the Lord. I have him in every league.
I have him in a few, and he's my number 1 wide receiver this week if you're doing rankings for sure.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I love
great matchup. They get him the ball, and PPR, he's going to eat. The Singletary situation, he's hurt his groin, and that kid, the rookie, Tyrone Tracy Jr. last week was amazing. I mean,
wow.
120-something yards on the ground. He had maybe 1 or 2 catches. Not really used much there yet, but I definitely want to roll. He might even be one of the best waiver pickups this week because I think Singletary's out again. So roll with Tracy. Deeper leagues, maybe a Slayton or Robinson, because they're both catching a lot of PPR leagues. They're both catching a lot of balls.
Yeah, I like Wandell. Yeah,
yeah, but not much else. I mean, the quarterback situation still. I mean, he's getting them the ball. He's scoring okay in double digits the last few weeks, but unless it's a big, super flex, I'm not loving Danny Dimes.
Yeah, no, you got to be able to do better than Daniel Jones, I feel like. And this is a game that, honestly, I feel like the loser of this game can start thinking about not making the playoffs. You know what I mean? I know it's early in the season, but I think that's where we are. If Cincy loses this game and goes to 1-5, it's just kind of over at that point. And then the Giants are just in a division that you can't afford to stagger in. So if you lose this one, you're probably in a hole you won't be able to get out of. So I look for this one to be a hard-fought game because both of these teams need the fuck out of this one. So who's going to be the number 1 fantasy scorer on Sunday night, Bean?
I'll go with Malik.
Malik Neighbors. I love it.
Well, I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors if he plays. If not, I'm going with Bean's pick with Tracy. I love that guy also, man. Yeah, he has a burst. I like it.
All right, we're gonna let Bean talk to you about Tracy here in just a second, as a matter of fact. But all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm taking Burrow. I'm gonna go with Burrow in this game. I like for him to light it up a little bit with Chase and Higgins and get a little groove on, man. I think he's gonna throw one to Chase Brown for a touchdown as well. I'm picking that specific play. I look for Moss to be a part of the offense yard-wise and, again, be held out of the end zone. So let's go to the last game of the week, which is Monday night. And the Aaron Rodgers with a high ankle sprain. The Jets have officially fired Robert. So just here, right on this program 2 weeks ago, me and you guys were discussing the fact that Salah seems like a nice guy, but is also a bit over his head and doesn't look like to be a good coach. And it sounds like the Jets organization agreed with us.
Yeah, pretty much. He was scared of Aaron Rodgers. That's exactly. If Aaron Rodgers throws 3 touchdowns or 3 interceptions, just fire the head coach.
Well, let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers is the head coach of that team for all intents and purposes.
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
Right?
It's like, hey, throw 3 interceptions, get rid of the head coach.
Yeah.
And I'll fix it.
This is Rodgers' team now, completely and 100%. Make no mistake about it. They will ride and fall on the decision-making of one man named Aaron Rodgers. We'll see how that goes.
Of the NFL.
Yeah, man, he really is. He's such a fucking douchebag, in my opinion. But let's talk about the game, guys. Talk to me about the Buffalo Bills, Mr. J.
Well, I think that's going to be an awesome game. I do too. Get together. You compare Shakir. If Shakir is back, I love Shakir, man. He's the only one you can really start with confidence besides Cook.
It's a shame they don't have better receivers than Buffalo right now, honestly, or at least more developed. And with that, I guess we'll see what happens. Honestly, they're dealing with some injuries and things like that, so certainly someone could emerge. Right. But so far, that's not really been the case, I would say.
And Coleman hasn't turned out to be the guy that.
Not yet. Certainly not yet.
He needs more time. He's a rookie. Let's let him go. So, that's basically who I've got on that one.
Nice. What about the Jets, Mr. Bean?
Deeper leagues, you can go with Rodgers, Superflex. I think he's definitely startable. Buffalo isn't stopping anybody these days. They've been rough the last couple games. Breece Hall hasn't done anything, but you still, he's one of those guys, if you drafted him that high, you got to kind of roll him unless you have much, much better options. You got lucky off the waivers or something, but another opportunity for him. Garrett Wilson, the best game of his year, probably of his career so far last week. He had 13 catches, I think, over 100 yards, touchdowns.
Yeah.
Outside of that, maybe Devontae Adams if they sign him tomorrow or something. I don't know. If you were Devontae, would you rather go to the Jets or maybe like the Bill? You know what I mean? It's leading towards the Jets, but if I were him, I'd rather have Josh Allen slinging me the ball. But
right, if you're Devontae Adams, the question is, do you want to win or do you want to go play with your buddy? Yeah, I think that's really the decision he's trying to make right now. I don't think the Jets is where you're going to go to win, to be honest with you. It's not that. With the head coach situation being what it is. Rodgers is startable. I agree fantasy-wise. Is he going to get wins in the NFL on a week-to-week basis? I'm not sure he still can do that. We'll see. He is. They're 2-3. It's certainly, they're definitely not out of it.
And that's another reason why I don't understand the coach. It's a weird situation.
Odd timing. But again, I think it sends a very clear signal that this is Aaron Rodgers' squad now. He is the head coach and the quarterback now.
Yep.
Maybe Devontae wants to be a coach too, so they'll co-coach together.
You bet. Won't that be a sight?
All the decisions, right?
There you go. They'll lose every week, and they'll be cocksuckers about it. What fun!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ayahuasca Jets.
Yeah, man, the fucking smoke dick. So who do you got? Who do you got as the fantasy player of the game in this one, guys? Talk to me, Bean.
I'll go Josh Allen. I think
Josh Allen. Nice.
He's struggling, so he needs that comeback game. I'm going Josh.
He seems to do well on Monday night games and them spotlight games too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Shakir does okay. If he plays, I think I'm calling Shakir for the game. Nice.
That's a ballsy start as well. I think I got to lean into Josh Allen on this one also. I think he lights it up. I would love to see Devonta Adams somewhere because I got him on a couple of teams. So hopefully he lands somewhere and plays for somebody. All right, well, that's the games, you guys, to look into. You guys can win your championships if you take our advice, man. And we hope that you're playing along and leaving your comments on the thing below and letting us know how you feel about what we have to tell you here. And I'm going to go ahead and throw the floor over to my main man, Bean, for a few minutes, man. And if you don't mind, Bean, why don't you tell everybody some suggestions to maybe look for the waiver wire this week in week 6?
Yeah, absolutely. You got the bye weeks, like we're, I've mentioned a few times before, and every week, you're going to have someone pop up, some injuries happen. But yeah, in deeper leagues, let's talk QBs. Obviously, Kirk Cousins had that show last week. If he's available, Love that against the Panthers. Joe Flacco, we talked about. Doesn't really matter. He's kind of matchup proof, and he's just slinging the ball.
Yeah.
I know, Justin Fields and some of these, one quarterback leagues, he's probably not taking either. So he's another guy you pick up for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Running backs, the big one, Tank Bigsby. I mean, not only was Etienne's shoulder messed up, he just hasn't been running right. Bigsby's been cleaning up. I mean, he's vulturing the goal line carries. He's breaking long runs. He seems to be the more explosive guy right now. He's even catching some balls. So I think between him and Tyrone Tracy Jr., I was talking about earlier from the Giants, are your top 2 picks for running back. Deeper leagues, if Rico Dowdle hasn't been picked up, I don't love the matchup this week, but he's a guy you can roster for sure. And for later, he seems to be the number 1 guy now.
Nice.
And another guy, Roshan Johnson from the Bears, he's been vulturing. Swift, his touchdowns usually come from pretty far out. He's catching balls, or he'll just break them. I mean, he's that speedy guy who breaks it,
right,
for 20, 30 and scores. But every time they're getting in, inside the 5, Roshan seems to be the man. He's gotten 3 touchdowns in the last couple of games. So another guy, deeper leagues, it might not get you a ton of fantasy points. He might only get you 20 yards, but
right, but he'll usually get in the end zone.
His last year, one of his last years, he had 13 rushing touchdowns, but he had like 70 total yards on the year.
Yeah, right. I remember the Bus had a game once where he had 5 yards and he had 3 touchdowns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thinking wide receivers, we talked about Darnell Mooney, had his career game last week. I think he's a great ad. He's available in like 2 or 3 out of my leagues. I couldn't believe it.
Too many leagues. That's insane.
Yeah. Tolbert, I think, might be a sneaky pick. Talked about him earlier. Alec Pierce from Indy he doesn't get a lot of catches, but he's always that deep guy.
Yeah, I like it.
3 or 4 catches, but he'll get like 80 yards and 2 scores. Right. And again, with Flacco there, I mean, you might have injuries, you might have bye week guys, and he's just the guy who might take a chance.
Before you move far past Tolbert, do you like him in the immediacy, or what about when Cooks comes back to the team? Do you still roster?
That's the only problem, I guess. You got to kind of see. I mean, but if he's the hot hand in Cooks,
Cooks is out right now, so
yeah, exactly, play the hot hand.
Roll with him, and I like it.
Trey Tucker in Vegas, who again I don't love this week, but when Devontae goes, I mean, he's going to step. I mean, between him and Bowers, they're going to be the one catching balls. I know it's not a great situation, but he's going to step up. He's the slot guy. He's going to catch a lot of balls.
Right.
And Alan Lazard, actually, I was looking at, he's like wide receiver 20, 21. He's in that range for most leagues, and he's just not. He wasn't drafted in a lot of leagues, obviously, and he seems to be Rodgers' go-to in the red zone. So he's another guy that can score you points, obviously. Josh Downs again, but he's probably rostered in most leagues. But yeah, another guy. Tight end Tucker Kraft, who's been huge the last couple of weeks. Again, we talked about how dreadful the tight end position.
Fucking wow, even right? I mean, what the fuck? What a game! What a couple games, even, man. He's definitely come on. Jordan Love loves them.
Yeah, love. Cade Otton, another guy who's not well rostered. Cade Otton from Tampa. Double-digit fantasy points 3 straight weeks, I think now. In the 11 to 15, I'll take 11 to 15 points all day.
Nice.
These guys, because they're struggling.
That's beautiful.
They're really struggling. And lastly, just some defenses, streamers. I stream a lot when it comes to defenses. I don't really keep, someone rostered the whole year. It's just it's just one of my weird strategies. Houston, we talked about that versus the terrible Patriots. I think that's a great play.
Yeah,
this week.
Fuck yeah.
And the Broncos as well. And they've been hot. Not a lot. It's a rough week, and there's a lot of high scoring teams out there. A lot of high scoring games this week. So there's not a lot of streaming defenses. So
right,
nobody has. Because that's a good matchup too against Hayner and the New Orleans team. So who knows how this kid's gonna fare? So they could pressure the crap out of him. And
right, especially with no car. I'm a guy that streams defenses, so that's very valuable to me.
Dude, that's good info for the people.
Yeah, I will tell you, I like the Chargers. That seems to be out there a lot. I wouldn't be afraid to start them against the Broncos this week. That's a good matchup. I only like them this week only, to be honest, but I do like them as a streaming option on defense as well. And maybe the Packers I see are available in quite a few leagues, and I might start them this week as well. Arizona's moving the ball, but they turned it over a little bit as well. So we'll see what happens. All right, those are my waiver wire suggestions on streamer defenses. And on that note, I believe that takes us to our FanDuel and DraftKings portion of the show, which in the future, that's just something we'll flash at you throughout the show, and it won't even be a segment we necessarily talk about as much as we'll just show you our picks. But we are working on building the studio for this program, ladies and gentlemen, so stay with us. And for now, we're going to tell you our FanDuel and or DraftKings. What did you guys do this week? I always do FanDuel, but who did a DraftKings lineup this week?
I did DraftKings.
You did. What about you, Bean? What did you do this week?
I did FanDuel again. Yeah.
FanDuel. Okay, so you and me did FanDuel. I'll tell you what, Jay, why don't you tell us your DraftKings lineup first this week, sir?
All right, let's go. This is my DraftKings for the Thursday through Monday night situation.
Okay, you did a full weekend wraparound. I did a Sunday special.
The whole weekend thing.
Okay, man. Nice.
$1,000 to work with.
Important to point that out, actually.
Yeah, my QB is going to be Jared Goff. He was $6,400. I got Bijan Robinson. He's playing Carolina, so for $6,600, that was not bad. 31st ranked against running backs, so I might as well. I'd be stupid.
Now's the time to get it going for him, man.
And this is where I show my love for Bean and him talking about that Tracy Jr. guy.
Nice.
Because I picked him up. He's $5,700.
Right. It's a supremely great value for somebody who's a starter at this point.
I'll take it.
Getting starter carries for $5,700. That's a nice value. This is our 25-cent DraftKings lineup. That's right, you guys. All right. Keep it coming. Hey, I love it, man. I love it. That's good shit.
Hey, this okay. Now I go to my wide receivers, which would be Josh Downs. Because Flacco loves him. That was $5,500.
Nice.
Wide receiver is DJ Moore, playing the 32nd ranked Jacksonville Jaguars.
Nice.
For $6,700.
Nice.
Why not play him? And I'm a homer, so I went with Jameson Williams. I had to do it. $5,800. You just never know when he's going to just go off.
Ball out. Nice.
And for my tight end, I picked Washington Commanders, Zach Ertz, $3,700.
Right on.
And for my flex, I picked $5,800 against the 29th ranked defense, Najee Harris.
Okay. I think I'm a little done with him, but go ahead.
My defense, which is what I kind of built this team around, because I wanted to make sure I got them against the 29th ranked Raiders. I took the Steelers.
Nice. Yeah, I like Pittsburgh there.
Those are my boys.
I may be riding the Steelers defense in my lineup from FanDuel as well. But what do you got there, Bean? I like it. That's a good DraftKings lineup out there, ladies and gentlemen. Go out there and throw a couple bucks on it. Like Jay said, put a quarter on it and see what happens.
Yeah, we got some of the same guys, man.
All right,
Oh, nice.
I like it. When great minds think alike, it's confidence building.
That means I know I'm doing good if Bean picks the same people I do. That makes me feel good about myself.
That's right.
Money. FanDuel's a little different, so that the numbers are a little different. But I went QB Jared Goff. I think this is going to be his best game. 7,700 in FanDuel. Running back one, Tony Pollard for 7,000. Tracy Jr. for 5,800. I stacked Goff with Amon-Ra St. Brown for 9,000. That was my big purchase on this game.
Right.
Loving Amon-Ra show. I mean, he's going to catch 12, 15 balls, and they just can't stop him. Tolbert, sneak play, 6,100. Again, big game, same game, just throwing the ball. So that was my thoughts on that. Mooney had a huge game. I'm kind of chasing last week's points. Hopefully he, at least get something. 6,500. I got Kraft at tight end. We talked about him, 6,000. Flex, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. for 7,000. And Pittsburgh Steelers, 4,900.
And the Steelers D. I think, look at that. All three of us have the Steelers defense in our weekly. Yeah, man. That's funny.
That's a sick team, B. That's a sick team.
I like it, Mr. Bean. That's good shit, man. Well, let me go ahead and throw you guys my FanDuel lineup, and that's going to be at quarterback Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins against the Carolina Panthers at $7,400. At running back one, I know I got it backwards. I'm going to tell you my value pick first and then my big purchase. But my value pick, I got Rico Dowdle at $6,100. I agree with you, Bean. I don't love the matchup, to be honest with you, but at that price and with the volume that I think he'll get, Hopefully he gets in the end zone a time or two, which by saving that money, it allowed me to splurge on Derrick Henry as my big running back purchase. I got Derrick Henry to run all over the Washington defense this week. I think he's going to have a big game. My wide receivers, by the way, Derrick Henry was $9,100, so he was expensive. The wide receivers, I went with Chris Olave for the Saints against the Buccaneers at $7,100. I went with Marvin Harrison Jr. at a paltry $7,000 this week, man. I thought he was a supreme value at that price against the Packers. I also went with Darnell Mooney. I'm maybe chasing points just like you are, but $6,500 on a matchup against the Panthers. It's hard not to jump on.
There's your stack too, yeah.
And there's my stack, right? I got my Kirk Cousins to the Mooney hookup that I very much do like. I think those guys are developing something there. And I'm going with Zach Ertz at tight end as well. I think Jay did too, but I like Zach Ertz at tight end against Baltimore at only $5,000 this week. I doubled up on Washington against Baltimore there because at my flex, I'm going with scary Terry McLaurin. So I'm hoping for some air balls against Baltimore this week, it would seem. And I did just as you guys did and went with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So hopefully that's a wiener.
I kind of feel good about it, man. I kind of like those. Those were great.
I think we got some good weeklies for everybody, and I think we got some good advice on the ups and downs and the waiver wire. And on that note, we are your fucking place to go for everything you need for fantasy football. And for that matter, heavy fucking metal. So Metal-O-Mania, we are going to start bringing you the fantasy football factory every fucking week throughout the season. We'll break down some playoff specials for you when we get there and everything. So you're going to want to keep hanging out with us here on the show. Bean, any closing thoughts for the fantasy freaks out there, my friend?
Yeah, bet. It's fun. Prop bets. FanDuel, do it all, man. This is great. I'm excited. Thursday night, kick it off. London, let's do this. I'm ready.
Fuck yeah, man. I do. I love it. I love that there's Thursday games. I love that there's London games early in the morning, man. I bring it all, dude. I love it. Bring it all to me. What about you, Jay? What do you got for the people?
Hey, man, this shit's only going to get better, everybody. We're living and learning right now. We're going to make it good. We love football. We love metal. We each have different intakes on intel on everything that
I was going to say intakes. Are you talking about my butthole?
Yeah, I mean, it might be your butthole. I mean,
that's the other podcast.
We'll be growing in archives for you as we develop these shows and leave them on YouTube for you. You can always check past episodes, see how we did. You know what I mean? And if you like where we're going with you and the advice we're giving, keep hanging out. And we strongly encourage a heavy trafficking on the chat board. So please get in there and tell us who you got, who you like. Fantasy questions, we'll do our best to get in there and answer some of them for you on the chat board as well. So keep it coming, and we'll keep kicking your ass here at the Fantasy Football Factory. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We love you, motherfuckers. Thank you, Bean. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
We're out, gang. We'll see you next week.
Peace.